Good morning, everyone. Welcome to class. We're just gonna have a nice easy day today. It's Friday. We're gonna do some review. We'll start with warm-ups. All right, let's reach overhead and start with some nice wrist circles. Loosen up all the joints in the arms. Relax, loosen up the wrists, elbows, shoulders. We'll do this movement 3 times. Circle the wrists as we sweep our arms down. One more. All right, let's roll our shoulders back. Start with some small circles, nice and easy. Then we can go a little bit bigger, kind of twist. Turn your whole torso as you warm up. Then let's lift our arms into this windmill motion. One arm up, the other arm down, circling back. Twisting, turning the waist. Circling each arm. Good, and then let's shrug up and release. Shrug the shoulders up, tighten, tense, and then release. Couple more times. Shrug, tighten, and release. One more. Drop down. Roll forward this time. Same thing, nice, easy shoulder motion. You can involve the whole upper body if you want. Then a few more times, we're going to shrug up, down, shrug up, and release. We'll do a little bit more shoulders. Spiral one arm to the side, palm up, and switch. Just getting this nice opening, turning motion through both arms. We're going to go to the front this time. Palms of the hands or backs of the hands come together as we press forward and just feel the space between our shoulder blades. We can turn and go behind us. So this time, kind of protect the shoulder and spiral one arm back behind you. Same thing, switch. Just spiral, twisting this arm, getting some motion through the arms, getting some fluid in all our joints. Couple more times, you can stretch your arm out, reach back as you do this. Another one we haven't done for a while. Go ahead and stretch your whole arm back, kind of at a 45. Open your whole hand and pulse a couple of times. Really stretch all the tendons, feel it through your thumb. Open your palm, pulsing a few times. Then you can add in a little neck. Stretch away, look back at your hand, stretch your neck away, look back. And what we're doing is we're just making room in the body for our nerves to glide a little bit. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Reach back, 45-degree angle, pulse, open your hands nice and wide. Open your tendons. Look back, look away, get a nice little stretch. Look back. Stretch, no rush, just taking your time. One more time each side. Switch. All right, and then let's smoothly just get some motion in our neck. So look side to side. Ear to shoulder. Just a nice little stretch. Just checking our neck mobility. Last, look up and down gently. All right, we can widen our stance a little bit. And just relax your arms, twist side to side, let your arms hang free. Just twist side to side. Let your arms make contact with your body wherever they do. You can lift up your heels as you turn. Do a little step on each side and get a little bit more swing. And then if we make two fists and place them on our low back around our kidney area, just rub in small circles. Give yourself a nice little back massage in your low back there. Get a little heat, a little friction there. Just making small circles until you feel some heat and warmth there. And then let's isolate the pelvis for our hip circles. So practice our Qigong movement. Tuck your pelvis under and then press to the side, back, side, front, side, back, side, front. And try to just isolate your pelvis for a few of these rotations. Draw the circle around. A few times each direction. Switch, just make sure you go both ways. Start with this one, you can try to isolate and then we'll move into a bigger circle. So this time we'll circle the whole torso above the waist. Make sure we go both ways. And move into a bow stance. Same thing, just push the hips forward, draw a circle. You can make your stance a little smaller if you feel sticky. If you feel like your hips stick or lock anywhere, just make your stance a little bit smaller. And your circles don't have to be big. We're just loosening up, checking our mobility. Maybe get a nice little stretch through the hip flexors. And then let's step back into a little bit deeper of a stance. So go ahead, I'll just turn to the side so you can see here. You can step back, just get a nice little stretch through the leg and hold. Just breathe. Shift forward to step up. Let's do the same thing, other side. So this time we'll circle the other direction. Go ahead and step back again with that same leg, just a little bit deeper stretch. Your weight is in your front leg, feel a nice little stretch through the back. Just hold, breathe. If it's easier to bounce a little bit than to hold, you can bounce instead of holding. Whatever is more comfortable for you. Shift forward to step out of that. Let's make a wider stance, and this time we're just gonna release all of our spine. We're gonna hang for a little while. If it's uncomfortable for you, you can slowly bend your knees and come up a little bit earlier, but I'm gonna give myself a little bit of time to be in this knees bent forward position. And if the blood goes to your head, just breathe and hold it. Don't get too dizzy. Just be the best judge of when you need to come back up. So you can follow my voice cues if you're comfortable, or you can come up a little bit early, but I'm gonna go ahead and just lean forward. And you can experiment, you can straighten your legs a little bit more or bend them a little bit more to stretch behind your legs. Really try to release. Imagine, see if you can visualize your spine and putting some space between each vertebra as you just hang and let gravity work a little bit. Release all the way from your tailbone up to where your spine meets your head. Relax, breathe, and let your muscles soften. Bend your knees and gently use your legs to come up. All right. Reach up overhead, one arm behind your back. We're just gonna stretch this side a little bit. Release, drawing a circle down, and switch your hands. Bend to the other side. Release and circle. Same thing. And now we're just gonna do a big, slow, controlled circle. Again, just checking our range of motion. Drawing a big circle with our fingertips. Fingertips are together, drawing a big circle one direction, using your legs, stretching your upper body. And you can switch directions, go both ways. Okay. And we haven't done, let's see, I can't remember if we've done teacup palms, but let's go ahead and do some teacup palms as we're stretching. So about shoulder width or a little bit wider. We're just gonna stretch out. Palms are relaxed and open, imagining we have a cup of tea in our hands, just held there loosely, doing our best to stretch without spilling the tea. Reach forward, out, behind the head, back around to the hip. Forward, out, behind the head, back to the hip. Couple more times. This time we'll reverse it. So start by circling behind your back, then come up overhead, back to the hip. Circle behind your back, overhead, back to your hip in the front. Okay. Shake out the wrists a little bit. Shake out the ankles a little bit. Just get a little bit of motion. Keep doing that. Excuse me for 1 second. All right. Let's do a little bit of bouncing. So start by getting shoulder width and just loosen up all the joints in your body. A little shake through the arms and then a little bounce from your heels. You can start small, just get some concussion going through the whole body. Shake the hands. Feel this movement through the legs, through the arms, through your whole body. Make it a little bit bigger. You can start to turn and shift side to side. It feels a little bit silly. That's good. You're probably doing it right. Shake out, loosen up. Make your bounce a little bigger. Turn side to side. Flick out your wrists a little bit. Do a nice relaxed circle. Circle the wrists around the elbows. Go both directions. Flick out like you have sand. Pick up some sand from the beach, flick it out, release from your wrists. Really relaxed wrists. Try, you can hold something if you want, or if your balance is feeling good today, circle the ankles. A few times each direction, just get a little mobility in there. Make sure you do both. Let's go back into our bow stance and step back a little bit and see if we can just press and get a nice little stretch through the back of our leg. We want to loosen up the tendons in the back of the leg. Same thing, other side. And then let's go to hands and knees. So you kind of want to make yourself a square or a rectangle shape. So kind of like a tabletop to begin. And we're going to turn our core on for this. So it's not a plank and it's not downward dog. It's something kind of in the middle. So a couple of times, just draw your core in and tuck your pelvis under. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Just feel what that feels like and then release. Breathe in, draw your core together. Draw your belly button up and tuck your hips under a little bit. Not squeezing too hard, not bearing down. Release. Tuck your stomach up and your hips down. Pressing into your shoulders a little bit. Try that a couple of times. And then we're going to go ahead and use our legs to come up. And keep your core on. Keep your hips tucked under. And keep your core tight and strong. And then you can go ahead and stretch into each leg a little bit. So push your heel down to the floor, one heel down to the floor. As you relax the other one, push your other heel down to the floor. Just alternate side to side, push one heel down, the other one can come up. And if that's too much for you to hold, shift back down to your knees, take a break. And you can try again, come back up. Just press into each heel. Try to keep your butt down, keep your hips tucked under, and get a nice stretch through your calf and your heel. Again, come back to your knees. And then gently come up again. You can shake out your wrists a little bit. We were kind of working our arms and our upper body. That exercise does a lot of things for us. Core strength, stretching. That's a really great one to practice at home. And you can come back to the video later. Let's take a little sip of water. It's a little warm, a little humid today. I think I'm going to click my air on a little bit more. All right, so one more thing I want to do for our warm-ups is a little bit of conditioning. So I think I introduced this last week or the week before. So get into kind of a, just kind of shift your weight into one side and lift and loosen your other, almost like a cat stance, but you don't have to have your toe up. And then let's just go ahead and take two fists and just gently, we're going to get some massage, some movement all the way down each leg. So just on the sides, be careful around your knee, but just go all the way down around the sides, the front and back of your upper leg, down carefully around your knee, calf, lower leg, just kind of bumping around your bones, go all around your ankle, and then kind of open your hands and slap the top of your feet. Come back up, start with your fists, just gently bumping, getting some blood flow into your upper leg. Your weight is in your back leg and your front leg is relaxed. Your muscles are not tight as you're going around. Carefully around the sides of the knee, gently. Calf, lower leg, just bumping, bumping. You can alternate your rhythm. Go around the ankle. And open hands, slap the tops of the foot. Coming back up. Great. Okay, this time we're going to do the arms. Same thing. Pick a side, start with your shoulder. We're conditioning our bones. Getting some blood flowing. Open your hands when you come to the wrist and the hands. Start going down. Just make sure you get all around each part of your arm. Inside of your arm, upper arm, carefully around your elbows, lower arm, opening your hands. Come to the wrist. Same thing, other side. Just bump around the outside of your upper arm. Carefully around your elbow. Forearm. Open for the wrists and hands. Same thing, inside of upper arm. Carefully around the elbow, forearm. Open your hands for the wrist and hands. And again, just shake out, relax. Feel everything nice and fluid and moving. We've got some heat, some circulation, some energy going. Another sip of water and we will transition into the next thing. All right. I want to do some review, but also go over some details. So let's start with brush knee. So for brush knee, we're going to begin in a cat stance. We're going to make one arm in our guard, a ward off, and our other hand is going to be behind us, ready to push. And I'm just going to go from the side here again. So for brush knee, this is how we begin. Cat stance, one arm is ward off, one arm is behind us, ready to push. We're going to step out into a bow stance, shift and push. And again, our power, if we back up, as we finish, our power isn't from the arm, our power is from the straightening of this back leg. And this is going to happen at the same time. We're learning the parts, but when we practice brush knee, we want to practice our finish, our leg and our arm push at the same time. Push at the same time, just in place, shift, and feel the power of your back leg. Get the timing, ward off, right? Change sides, okay? So now our right arm will be forward, left arm will be back, right leg forward, ready to step, right? Same thing, just practice this kind of in place a few times, okay? So from our cat stance and our ward off, just ready. So just keep that in mind for timing. And let's go through and just do a few left side, right side, nice and smooth. And even though we can do this nice big circle and get ready to push, when our hand comes forward past our ear, it comes down and sinks and we press from about heart height, chest height. Right? So our push, arm circles back and our push will come from the chest and from our leg as we're straightening. So those are just some details for brush knee. Let's keep going. Brush left knee. Brush right knee. Brush left knee. Brush right knee. I'm shifting and turning, adjusting my foot. Rock back, turn the toe out. Step, shift and push. Rock back, turn the toe out. Step, shift and push. Brush left knee, shift back, turn the toe out, shift into that foot, step into bow stance, rock back, turn the toe out, shift into that leg, step, push and straighten the back leg. Keep going, I'm just going to change my angle here. Brush left knee, brush right knee, Just wanted to demonstrate that even if you have a small space, you can use a change step. So it's great if we have a big practice space, but if not, we can step back, bring our heels together, change and step out into the bow stance. Step back, bring our heels together, and then change. So this is a change step. And if you run out of room, just bring your step back, bring your heels together, and then step out into your cat stance. It changes things, but it's useful to know how to practice, even if you're in a small space. And just make sure that you're adjusting, turning your feet to make your knees comfortable. Change steps, and then we'll just do a few more. Just relax. Make everything nice and fluid. Just a little pause before you change from left to right. Finish, slight pause, and then the other side. Breathe in as you circle one arm back. Breathe out as you push. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out as you push. So I'm going to let you time this with your breath. So you can follow me, but if your breath relaxed is at a different pace than mine, that's fine. So just practice, prepare and breathe in. Exhale as you push. Might feel good to slow it down here. Nice big inhale. Big exhale on the push. Big inhale as you circle back. Big exhale as you push. Keep going on your own timing. Your exhale, you can breathe out your lips and actually hear yourself make that exhale sound. Breathe in through your nose. Audible exhale as you breathe out. Feel free to be loud. Breathing doesn't always have to be quiet. Okay, awesome. So we're going to take and apply the same principles to cloud hands. We're going to work on breath and timing. Cloud hands, our hands are going to be kind of roughly in our center line. One is about neck height, the other one is about navel height. So we're gonna, our top hand is gonna go turn, turn, turn. When we want to switch our hands, we reach out and step. So this is our counterbalance here as we reach, step in place, change the hands, turn, 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 shifting our weight into the other leg. Ready to step, change the hands, reach out and step out. Change the hands, shift and turn. Shifting our weight into the other leg, ready to step as we reach out. Step, change the hands, turn. Shifting our weight into the right leg. Changing the hands, stepping with the left leg, shift and turn. If you're going the opposite direction, don't worry about left and right too much. Change the hands, step, shift and turn. Ready to step as we change our hands. Change, shift and turn, shifting our weight, ready to step. Cloud hands is an important one to remember to keep our hips tucked under. There's a lot to think about. There's a waist turn, there's shifting. This is a posture where it's really easy to forget to keep our hips tucked under. I think because there's a lot of other things to think about. But just try, as you're remembering all the details, change, reach, step, shift and turn. Just keep checking, can I tuck my hips under a little bit more? It might feel like a little glute squeeze in. It might feel like you're pressing your hips forward a little bit. So keep going, just practice coordinating your timing. Are you reaching and stepping out so you have this counterbalance at the same time? Are you shifting your weight, turning your waist and your hands at the same time? The waist and the hands turn together. Waist and hands turn together as a unit. If you feel wobbly at all, tuck your hips under and take smaller steps. If you feel off balance, check your timing that you're using your hand and leg as a counterbalance. Bring your attention to your breath. First, just notice your breath pattern. When do you want to inhale and when do you want to exhale? I'm not going to tell you where to place your inhale and exhale this time. I want you just to notice. And to experiment a little bit. Just notice your natural breath pattern and how much you need to speed up or slow down your movement to coordinate the timing with your breath. And if it's not perfectly coordinated, don't worry too much about it. Don't stress, just notice, when is my inhale, when is my exhale? If you feel comfortable, try some bigger steps. Try to reach out a little bit more and step out a little bit more. Notice how that changes how you have to shift and turn. Bigger step, bigger shift in your legs. Bigger step, take some more time to shift your weight and turn. Bigger step is a bigger reach to the side. More time to shift, 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 turn. It changes when we take bigger steps, it changes our body mechanics and it changes our timing. And if you've tried some bigger steps, now just go back to a smaller or what feels like a medium step for you. And again, keep in mind your size, your frame, your proportions. My stances and how wide my feet are should be appropriate for my shoulder width and yours for you. So it's going to look a little bit different for everybody. If we all put tape on the floor and measured how wide our stances are, it's going to be different based on our height, based on our build. So even though we follow movements, we copy, we kind of follow along, if something is feeling off for you, if something is feeling out of balance or difficult, think about how wide or narrow your stance is. Check if you have your hips tucked under. Remind yourself to check your alignment. And after you do all your checks and you focus on the details, you focus on the corrections. After that, go back to smooth movement. Go back to putting your attention on your breath. Where is my inhale? Where is my exhale? Let's switch it up. Let's go back to brush knee. And just do some nice smooth ones on your own. I'm not going to talk. Let's go backwards with some repulse monkeys. Apply the same principles. Stay relaxed. Different postures, same principles. Relax, align, coordinate your breath with your timing. This is a posture where we have a push. See if you can figure out where it's comfortable for you to inhale and exhale. Parting wild horse's mane. Imagine swimming in air. Imagine if the air was heavy, like water, a little more dense. Imagine if it just took a little bit more energy to move our body through the air. Good. It's been a while, I think, since we've reviewed strike tiger left and right. So let's just do a few of those. If you don't remember, just try to follow along for a few. So we were talking about stances, right? So the same thing here. If I do a big step back, I'm going to have a big waist turn, right? I'm going to have more inertia. If I do a big step back, I'm going to have more energy for my waist turns. I'm going to have more inertia. Try that a few times. Try when we step backwards into our bow stance, try a big step back and notice your waist turn. Step up, but a big step back, right? A big step back. Now we have a big shift to get back to our front foot. We can make that a little bit more difficult for ourselves. So again, just be mindful of stances. Try it a few times. Big step back. Just realize you've got a more distance to cover now. You've got more time and more energy to shift back into that front leg. So a big step back. You're going to need a big shift to get back forward again. So then try a smaller or medium, try like a moderate sized bow stance for you. Split, step back, grab and strike. Split, step back, grab, strike. Split, step, grab, turn, strike. Split, step, grab, turn, strike. Split, step, step, grab, turn, strike. Shift back up. Split, step, grab, turn, strike. Back to center. Split, step, grab, turn, strike. Back to center. Split, step back, turn, strike. All right. Grab a little sip of water. Okay, pop quiz, you can turn your mics on. I just want to hear, there's no wrong answers. Where on the pushing postures did you feel more comfortable with your exhale or your inhale?
When you push out, it feels better to exhale.
Did you try inhaling when you push?
No.
It's hard. It's hard, yeah. So, and like I said, there's no wrong answers. So cloud hands, we don't have a push. Cloud hands, we're turning, right? So cloud hands has several different applications, but there's not a push like we have forward like this for some of the other postures. But for a pulse monkey, we have this push, right? And for brush knee, we have this push. And I bet it's going to feel a lot more comfortable if you start paying attention to your breath and your timing. And you do this nice big inhale and then a big exhale. Practice your breath and your timing and imagine swimming in air and see if you feel a different feeling after you practice. So I think we'll keep it short and sweet for today unless there's any requests.
I just noticed that I hold my breath a lot because I'm trying to get the correct movement, and I know that's really bad, so I don't know what to do about it.
It's
because
really
I can do one or the other, but not both.
Yep. So that's why we break it down, and that's why I'm not going to throw everything into every lesson. So this is where, like I've talked about practicing, I'm giving you a lot in every lesson, but when you practice on your own, just pick a couple things to focus on, because if we're like, relax, align, my breath, this, that, like our mind is jumping everywhere, right? So just try to pick like no more than 2 things every time you do like a row of left and right. And this is why, this is another reason that I'm not going through the form right now, is that there's a lot. And I think that that's super, super common, especially in the beginning when we're learning to hold our breath. And that's not what we want. We want to practice inhale and exhale. And it's easier to do sometimes when we're seated to focus on our breath, but then we're not moving. So there's sort of this balance, right? So we have the yin and the yang, we have the opposites, we have stillness and we have movement. So, and one thing that, you know, that I've heard proposed is that when our body is still, our mind is moving. So think about like when you want to go to bed at night. Some people have a really easy time falling asleep at night. Not everybody. You like get into bed, you're like, yeah, I'm ready to sleep. Your mind turns on, right? How common is this for a lot of people? As soon as you rest, your mind starts going. So one of the benefits of movement is I think we can switch that. So if our body is still and our mind is going, we can move our body and try to quiet the mind a little bit. So there's a lot going on when we're first learning, but that's why I really encourage like practice on your own, even if it's just a little bit every day, and try to really enjoy and like not get too caught up about, am I doing it perfectly? Am I doing it right? But just to really enjoy the practice. So yeah, try not to hold your breath. Try not. It's hard. It's hard though. I think it's super common. I think I still do it, especially if I'm focused on something else, but just try to bring your attention back to your breath, swimming in air. One of my favorite forms is a Bagua form called Swimming Dragon. And if you could just imagine, it has a lot of coiling because it's Bagua. There's a lot of coiling. There's a lot of this arm movement going on. But if you can imagine that you're a dragon swimming through the air, have a little bit of power, have a little bit of that, you know, fluidity, think about applying that to practice. So.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.